Okay, now we'll take a look at the Boston Marathon and the Kenyan, and I believe he may be Ethiopian, but I'm not sure. But anyway, we'll just call them the foreign runners in comparison to Ryan Hall, the American runner. So we'll start off in the same spot. They're in support, but even although they're in full support, as you can tell by the whole foot being in contact with the ground, the trail leg is still quite a bit behind the body. So this could be an area where both of them can even be a little bit better if they brought that swing leg through a little bit faster. But it's not a critical point here right now, even though the recovery of that swing leg is too high. It doesn't have to be that high. If the shin were level to the ground or slightly above, that would be ideal. So here they're still expending more energy than they have to. But if you take a look at their faces, it sure doesn't appear that way, especially at the end of the race. Okay, the next frame, they're in full contact, or rather we're seeing one thigh, and both of them pretty much in the same stride. We see the push off, he's getting ready to take off. In fact, all three runners. Here they're just breaking contact now, just breaking contact. We take a look at that thigh. It's a good, I didn't put a ruler on it, but I would say it's at least 45 degrees to the horizontal or vertical, which is ideal. This is a good knee drive, and especially near the end of the race, which this is. So they still have a good knee drive. The push-off leg still remains bent. This is a key element. Look at this one. See, it's still bent at the moment of takeoff. This one, it's hard to tell the whole leg, but yeah, there's a little bit. If we drew a straight line, it would be broken. So all three runners here have a slightly bent knee at the exact moment of takeoff. And that's as it should be. That's ideal. Okay, and there's a swing out. Okay, I shouldn't have gone that fast, but from that furthest point forward, this one runner brings it back, so he's landing more on the whole foot, but it's more, more the whole foot on midfoot. This runner, however, you can see how he's landing on the outside edge of this foot and lands first on the heel. See, take a look at this shin. The shin is a little bit more vertical now, and this one is still somewhat out in front. So this is ineffective on this one point. On this one here, this one is more effective. It could even be made even better if he brought the whole leg straight back and then bent it. So most of them get by just bending the knee a little bit to make sure that they're landing more midfoot. I'd love to see him in bare feet in his home country and compare it to what he does with these shoes on, because we can see a major difference from what they do at home and what they do in the race when they have shoes on. Okay, and let's take a look at the next stride. We see kind of the same thing. Slightly bent leg at the moment of takeoff. Good knee drive. Still has basically it looks like a straight leg, but it isn't. If we put a ruler on it from this thigh and the shin, there'd be a little break in it. Ankle joint extension is good, and that's the joint that gives you most of the power in your push-off. Now look at the trunk. Pretty erect. There might be a slight lean of a couple of degrees, but not really too noticeable. We can see it, but not severe, for sure. Now it looks even more erect. This is what it should be during the push-off. During the push-off, we should see a very erect trunk, because you're really pushing the hips forward. You're not pushing the head and shoulders forward. Okay, we had that bent leg, swing out, get ready for the landing. Both look like they're ready to hit on the heel. Now watch the very next frame. He brought it back. There's the pullback. But on this runner, once again, see how his toe is still up in the air, so he's still landing basically on his heel, even though he's bringing the leg back. So he has a little bit of pullback, but he's a heel hitter. Recovery still too high. Could be a lot lower. Uses a lot of energy. And notice when you're in full support, there's always a little bit of a crouch that looks like a forward lean. Everybody keeps talking about one posture, stand erect or whatever it might be in running. You don't have just one static posture. Your posture changes. When you're in full support, you're in a slight crouch. When you're pushing off, then you're erect. So your body changes with the conditions of the run and your technique. Okay, so here we've seen the major components. This is a beautiful one. See? The slight arch in the lower back. This is indicative of the hips being pushed forward. See, they're trying to get in front of the head and shoulders. So this would be ideal. Now let's take a look at Ryan and see how it compares to them.